All right, Hang On says we're live, so we are apparently live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our UFC 198 pre-fight show presented by CrossBonesMMA. My name is Eddie Law. That's Jesse Ruvalcaba. Obviously, we're on the same time as the weigh-ins. Currently, the weigh-in stream for me anyway is frozen for some reason. I think for everybody else too. I don't know. We're good. Nate Marquardt stepping up to the scale, and it looks like he made weight. This is weird.
He
So
better have.
everyone's complaining about the weigh-in stream being whack. So yeah, everyone's like lag. Oh, so here's what happened. Everybody missed him weighing in because it lagged. So it wasn't, my computer wasn't frozen. So that's a relief, I guess. Anyway, so this card going down in Brazil, Curitiba, Brazil. First time that happens. Let's just get the elephant out of the way. Anderson Silva out. We were actually talking about this before we even started this show. You were talking about this Anderson not being in the card, that fight not being in the card. Does that take a lot of steam out of it? To me, it doesn't, but to you, it took a little bit of sting off of it, right?
Yeah, I mean, man, I can't think of a better person that represents Brazil better than Anderson Silva. I mean, his attitude, just the way he is, he's like a hero down there, almost as big as a hero as when Jose Aldo went down there and kneed Chad Mendes in the face and put him to sleep and then jumped in the crowd. You're not going to find
after grabbing the top of the cage and cheating. Let's just get that out of the way.
But still, he still landed that knee. But yeah, I mean, this is one of those cards where you kind of wish maybe they would have gotten Aldo on there, JDS, and just really blown out the rest of the Brazilians on this card. But I mean, yeah, I mean, not having the first Brazilian to really dominate the sport, not on this card, it kind of hurts it a little bit.
Yeah, and real quick, because we were talking about this right, literally seconds before we started the show about Cyborg and her weigh-in. And look, Andrew might be fucking with us, but he says, rumor that Cyborg is in a bad way backstage. I hope not. I hope not. Up next to the scale, looks like Santos and Marquardt both made weight. Now we got Damian Maia and Matt Brown. I don't see either one missing weight. So both guys are actually pretty reliable to make weight as far as I remember. So anyway, wow, they are horrible. This stream from Brazil is awful. They're back at Marquardt and Santos facing off. Anyway, all right. So let's dive into the Fight Pass prelims kicking off at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time tomorrow. Obviously on Fight Pass. First fight of the night, Renato, or I guess if it's Brazil, Renato Moicano against Zubaida Tukhugov, Warrior. My take on this fight is pretty simple. Moicano's got, I think pretty much, I'm pretty sure he's got the reach on him. And I'm pretty sure his ground game is way better. Not like ridiculous amount better, but way better. And I'm of the opinion that Tukhugov's opponents, what he's had, like 3 UFC fights and 2 all wins, by the way. So credit to him. But 2 of them were decision wins. I put stock in that. I really do. Especially when it's against low level talent. So I don't see him being enough or having enough to beat Moicano. So I think Moicano will probably take it some kind of decision. What do you think in this fight?
Goddamn. Andy over there making up rumors and stuff.
Oh, you're making it up? I fucking knew it. All right, so
yeah.
We'll let you know right now. Cyborg's coming soon.
How does the UK guy know anybody in Brazil? Anyway,
shit.
I think the big factor here is how is my question that kept coming up in my head when I was looking at this fight is how is Moicano going to take it to the ground? Tukhugov's takedown defense has been 100% since he's been in the UFC. Not to say that, he can't get taken down, but I mean, he has some really strong takedown defense. He's also an AKA fighter. So I put stock into who you train with, what your level of around you, and I think that that's going to be a big factor for me. Of course, being in Brazil, that's the thing, for all the Brazilians in this card, guys that are fighting themselves, but whatever. But I think Tukhugov is going to start off this card with having the crowd hate him. I think he's going to win this fight. I think that takedown defense that he has is going to be a real factor, and I think he's going to be able to use his stand up to really push the pace on Renato and really take that 9-0 streak that he's got going on.
Yeah. Real quick. Oh, Benson Henderson making an appearance on stage with Barberena. Real quick, and because I saw it happen right now, I was like, what? The crowd started yelling, "You're gonna die" in Portuguese to Matt Brown. Matt Brown turned his back and flipped off the crowd. That was gold. That's how you do it. That's how you handle a crowd like that. All right, you.
Yep.
You know, especially when it's on FS2.
Yeah,
Nobody cares. So,
you got to be like Chael Sonnen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So yeah. Look, I don't know. I like Moicano in this fight. I think you're picking Tukagov, so we'll see. I just don't like the level of talent that they fought. What do you think about Moraes against Chagas?
Man, it's an interesting fight. But in my opinion, even though Chagas has a 9-fight win streak, you know, being on that much of a run, you know, it's a pretty good thing. But you look at Moraes, and what he brings to the table is that he's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu champion, really good overall. But you know, 10-2 overall in his record. He went through the Ultimate Fighter Brazil. I think he placed like second or third in that season, but you know, still did pretty well. Been really, like, in my opinion, he's been really effective in the fights that he's been in. And to me, the biggest thing that he did was he beat Neil Magny. Neil Magny, that was, you know, a few years ago, but still, he beat Neil Magny. That says a lot to me. The level of competition that he's faced, you know, in my opinion, is way better. And I think Sergio is gonna take this one pretty easily. I think it's not gonna be that much of a challenge for him. I think Chagas has a good win streak, but I don't think he has a level of competition, you know, under his record, under his belt, to really rise to the occasion and do anything in this fight.
Yeah, and I agree with you. I think Chagas is a very similar fighter as Moraes, but at a way lower level. You know what I mean? I think Moraes has the advantage in every spot, especially jiu-jitsu, especially the ground game. So I'm with you. I don't think it'll last that long. Well, excuse me. I don't think it'll be a decision fight. I think it'll be a finish for Moraes at some point in the first couple rounds. You know,
plus Sergio, he was open weight champion, silver. I think he took silver not too long ago in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. So,
yeah.
Man, that's a beast if you can go in there with everybody, you know, and still take silver.
Yeah, and look, I'm not a jiu-jitsu black belt or anything, but I am 200 pounds, and I'm rolling with guys that are 260 pounds at jiu-jitsu. It's a mother, so I give that a lot of credit for sure. Okay, if you win any absolute tournament when you're what is he freaking welterweight? Yeah, that means something. Anyway, all right, and the feature prelim, Fight Pass prelim, which I don't like, but it's just to get more attention to Fight Pass, and it might be a sad one. Lil Nog against Patrick Cummins. I like Lil Nog a lot. I like his ground game. His boxing is underrated still, which is weird to say about the Nogueira brothers who've been improving quite a bit with the boxing, with the striking. Against Patrick Cummins, who's a wrestler and is a pretty dominant wrestler against guys that, you know, aren't strong on the ground. But Lil Nog was probably pretty comfortable on the ground. It's a weird fight for me. You know, it's one of those pick with your heart things. Anyone that saw In the Pocket yesterday, myself and Mr. Max Reed, you know, we did a lot of from the heart picks. Him and I are similar like that, but from the heart, I want to pick Lil Nog, man. But Patrick Cummins is a pretty strong monster, and it might be catching Lil Nog at the right time to beat him and adding a pretty big name to his resume. But I'm gonna pick Lil Nog, man. I don't even care. I'm picking Lil Nog, and you know, with probably just a submission. But what do you think?
You know, if I were picking this fight for Nogueira, I'd probably pick it by a knockout. Because that's how it seems to go with Patrick Cummins. You know, he either knocks you out or he gets knocked the hell out. You know, it's one or the other. That's why I like Patrick a lot. I think he got a bad rap coming into the UFC the way he did by talking his way into a fight that he just completely got utterly destroyed. But I mean, he's come along. He's shown the potential. And in my opinion, I think we still haven't seen the best Patrick Cummins out there. You know, his striking is improving. You know, having to basically be thrown into the deep water of the UFC and, you know, trying to swim and navigate those waters, it's been pretty tough for him, but his wrestling has got him through and his improved striking has got him through. So I think this is, like you said, it's the perfect time to catch Nogueira. He's been away for a little bit of time here, and I think the age is probably catching up to Nogueira at this point.
Definitely.
And I think Patrick is going to take it. So.
All right, real quick update here. Shogun and Corey Anderson have weighed in. They made weight. Shogun actually looks pretty good. Up next, Cyborg and Leslie Smith about to weigh in. Leslie Smith walking to the scale. I'm assuming as we speak because this thing's lagging. So I'm assuming she's weighed in already. Oh, here we go. The lag's off, and they're running to the scale. You know what I mean? You know what? Like when the stream catches up, it's trying to catch up and shit, and then everyone starts moving
like that
faster.
weird like fast forward.
Yeah. So Leslie just sprinted to the scale, and then it's lagging again. Seriously, everyone's complaining about the lag. So at least I'm not the only one. It's not my internet. It's YouTube and UFC and whatever they're using to stream. It always seems like
I wonder what it looks like on TV though. I wonder if they have lag there.
Leslie on the scale, smiling. Look like she made weight with that jacked up ear of hers. 139. She came in at 139, and she looks healthy. She fights at 135 normally. All right, here comes Cyborg to what I'm assuming is going to be an explosive cheer. Let's see if this thing even has any audio. I think the audio might be fucked. Oh no, it's not. It's muted over here. My bad. I'm an idiot. All right, here we go. Here we go. Oh yeah, the crowd's exploding. So Chris Cyborg, if you guys are watching this, I'm just gonna narrate it for you. With the Reebok pants on, Reebok sweatshirt. She looks okay. I'm not gonna lie.
Lag on Fight Pass.
She looks better, huh?
Yeah, there better be no lag on Fight Pass. That's what I think. Andy said.
Oh, I'm watching on YouTube. Let's see. Cyborg stepped up the scale. She looks cut. Yeah, she looks cut. She looks okay though. She doesn't look like she's dying. Makes weight. Fights on. And she looks 139. Holy shit. She came in at 139 too.
Told you.
Here come the chance, 135. Oh!
George Lockhart, man.
Oh shit. Leslie Smith putting on a Nate Diaz freaking hand out to the almost to the face type of stance. Fuck yeah. Dude, that was awesome. Are you watching it? Are you watching it?
Nah.
Dude, she came out. And she didn't get as close as Nate did to Connor, but she came out with the arm out and shit. It was baller, dude. All right. So we have a fight. Sorry, I'm a sucker for shit like that. So we have a fight. Both girls make weight, 139, and here comes Jacare and Vitor Belfort. All right.
Come on, tell me though. To all those morons that went to those sport books and placed that bet that Cyborg was not going to make weight, I hope you guys just are retarded. Hey, I have a bridge for you guys to buy as well. If you guys want to.
No, but look, right away, Mike Jarvis immediately goes, she totally can make 135. She looks like she can. She looked okay. Yeah. She looked just fine.
No, dude, she's been cutting down slowly. I mean, for her body,
smart. Finally, someone does.
It's good for her to do slow.
Yeah, that's a smart way to do it. It's stupid as hell that you're doing and by the way, and we'll talk about it on another show probably, but the UFC's new weight management thing that they're doing, I have to study up on it because I just heard about it. I haven't gotten into detail yet, but I'm going to. We're going to talk about that shit sometime soon. And once again, good old YouTube.
Think about it. I think because of one championship, segue here, because of what one championship is doing, about how they're trying to really regulate people from, basically it's saving the fighter from getting that concussive brain damage that we're all afraid of, right? We're all afraid of a Dada 5000 type deal where someone gets hit in the head too much and dies because, they dehydrated themselves. Because that's basically what happened to Dada. He was dehydrated, We don't want that in the UFC. So, I mean, any precaution that they could take. The only thing I wish they would bring back is the IV bags with medical supervision.
I'm okay with it.
You bring that in, and I think we solve a lot of the problems that of weight cutting. But anyway, what were we at? We were at John Lineker against Rob Fox.
Jacare showing off for the crowd, doing like a almost like a gator crawl and then a nice little cartwheel onto the stage.
Right, come on.
Brazilians are showing out, man. The Brazilians are showing out.
Right?
They're at home, man. Yes, it's whatever price I gave you. Sorry. I'm handling business over here and on this. Anyway. All right.
I know, man. Look at you, the boss media mogul over here.
For now. I can't wait to get a break tomorrow. Anyway, Jacare and Vitor Belfort weighed in. They both made weight. Just standard face or whatever stare down. You don't see like a lot of Brazilians fighting each other in Brazil. I mean, as far as I can remember. So, it's a little weird, a little different, but it's okay. All right, moving on. Next fight. Oh, here comes the main event. We got Stipe and Verdum, but they could probably just both stand on the scale and be fine.
Oh yeah.
All right, so that's we're FS1. Yeah, FS1 prelims. Sorry. All right, FS1 prelims kicking off 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific time with what I think is going to be okay, should be a pretty good fight. John Lineker against Rob Font. Lineker obviously hands of stone. Dude can hit hard. If he makes weight, he's great. I'm assuming he did. It should be a pretty good fight. Rob Font can hold his own. What do you think of this fight?
It's almost like a classic styles makes fights, right? Because in Rob Font, you got a purple belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, has a lot of wins by submission, really likes to use his ground game. John Lineker, on the other hand, he does nothing but throw leather. I mean, that's pretty much what he likes to do. If he could just, I mean, he's almost those type of guys that would be good in a boxing match, because he'd be one of those guys that just likes to just throw down, not worry about the takedown, just stand in front of you and see who falls down first. Font has ways to win, but I think John Lineker, all he really needs to do is land that one solid punch, and it's lights out for Rob Font. So I'm picking John Lineker here by a TKO or KO.
I'm thinking that as well. I mean, look, Lineker lands, puts hands on you. If any punch he throws is gonna hurt, and he's been known to be able to land at the right spot to knock people out. So I think I'm taking him as well in that fight. But before we go on, dude, what do you think of this home? For example, basketball, football, we talk about home field advantage and all that. What do you think about doing that with fighting? Yeah. You're fighting at home. Is it too much pressure? Is that good for you? What do you think?
It depends on the person. I think what was it? The last one, the last example of it was it a Bellator? It was a Bellator fight, I think. Who was it? The Legionnaire. What's his name? Damn it, I forget his name. But they were fighting overseas in his home country, and he was just getting mauled. But like the crowd just willed him to like keep fighting, and he won that fight by knockout, I think. Yeah. So I mean, it just depends on the person. If the person, we've seen it go the wrong way. Look at Cain Velasquez when he fought in LA. His city. He was the big promotion. He was the big time guy, and then he went in there and choked. I mean, there's no two ways about it. He choked. He got tentative and stayed there looking at Junior Dos Santos, and then Dos Santos hit him right in the right spot. So it can work both ways. But I think most of these Brazilian guys, the good thing is that most of these guys have fought in front of their home crowd, have had big fights in front of their home crowd. So I don't think I think this is going to be more of a help to them than a hindrance. I think the only two that are going to have a problem is Jacare and Vitor, because they're both big, huge stars in Brazil fighting each other. I think that's going to be the one that splits the crowd. But other than that, I think everybody else is going to have an advantage with the crowd willing them to win their fight.
All right. No, and I agree with you. I do. I mean, it's just I always put a lot of weight on it, but I also put a lot of pressure on it, especially when fighting. I think in fighting, it's pressure, more pressure than advantage. I think in sports, because you have a whole team, or team sports, I think it's a little easier to take that kind of pressure. Miocic comes in at 241, and Verdun walking to the scales as we speak. All right, moving on here. Next fight, Francisco Trinaldo against Yancy Medeiros in a fight that I wish I could say I'm excited to see Medeiros. How's that? That's kind of what I want to see. Because Trinaldo, while he's won his last 4 or 5 fights, he just hasn't done anything to make me excited to see him fight anymore. I mean, it used to be that you would see him. He's an old school guy, old school type of fighter. Yeah. And you like to see him go in there because he finds ways to get some offense going, right? Meanwhile, Medeiros is a guy who likes to throw hands but doesn't like to block anything or play any kind of defense whatsoever. Like, he gets tagged up real good in his fights. So it's kind of a tough fight because you get a guy in Trinaldo who can lay you out if he tags you, and Medeiros, who's high output but doesn't do any kind of defense. You know what I mean? So to me it's kind of a weird fight to pick. I'm going with Medeiros, more of a hopeful pick than it is probably a smart pick because Francisco Trinaldo is at home and all that. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you in that sense, but I think what Yancy really has in his corner is his toughness, his ability to really absorb a lot of that damage. Not a good strategy going longer into your career, but up front, I mean, hey, write those checks on your chin as much as you can until those bills come to fruition. But I think his cardio, that he can actually go those 3 hard rounds really with that high output, Yancy Medeiros, and his toughness, I think he's going to be able to outwork Trinaldo, and I think that's what's going to be the deciding factor here. Like you said, I think Trinaldo can tag him and hit him, But I still think that Medeiros is going to be able to weather the storm and just pretty much just weather the storm and be able to, put out some offense enough to take him down and, beat him up.
Yeah. All right. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird for me to pick. I'm going with Medeiros there. All right. Next fight up: Thiago Santos against Nate Marquardt. Nate Marquardt, 37, I believe, years old. Lots of miles on him. But he just knocked the shit out of CB Dollaway. Meanwhile, Thiago Santos is to me is a pretty complete guy. I think. I'm going with the younger guy. I'm going with Santos in here at home, and I don't want to see Marquardt get massacred, but if he does lose, I want to see him just right off into the sunset. But who are we to tell an athlete to retire? But I hate to see Nate Marquardt get beat up like we've seen a couple times already. But I'm gonna take Santos in that fight. Who you got?
Didn't Marquardt just win his last fight?
Yeah, Marquardt knocked out CB Dollaway, knockout.
Yeah.
But that was quick, and CB fucked up. Time out, real quick. Don't take that as me being against Marquardt. I am not. I was the happiest person on the planet because he knocked out CB Dollaway, who I can't stand. Sorry, go ahead.
So with Eddie's pick against Marquardt, and hating on Marquardt, just put that out there. I think what we've seen from Nate before, and now recently is kind of a rejuvenation. To me, it seems like we're starting to get him really focusing on his final lap. Kind of like Kobe. And when a player is just kind of realize that he's at the end, and he's just gonna have fun in there. He's gonna do what he can, and he's not gonna care about performing to get a title shot. And I think that's the best thing fighters can do. Is just not worry about the title shot. Just let the fights happen and just let it ride. And I think the experience that he brings into these fights, Nate seems to do way better when he's not worried about what's next.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's not worried about what's next, he's got the experience to really deal with anything that Santos is going to throw at him. It's just, I in my opinion, I think Nate Marquardt's going to win this fight. I think his experience and just the rejuvenation that we've seen him grow through recently, of him just being like, what, I'm just here to fight. I'm going to do the best that I can, and that's what I'm going to do. I think that's the best attitude he's had so far, and I think that's going to take him kind of long way.
Yeah, look, man, I'm rooting for Marquardt. I really am. I hope he comes through.
No. You're rooting for Santos.
Stop that's who you shit. I gave my disclaimer before we even started this fucking spot. All right. The feature prelim on FS1, Damian Maia against Matt Brown. Damian Maia actually coming out not too long ago saying he doesn't understand why he's in the prelim, but I don't either, but whatever. Other than trying to get more eyes on FS1. But regardless, the names are there. Are the games there? I think Damian Maia will dominate this on the ground. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Matt Brown himself admitting to who was it to Luke Thomas on his show. Yeah. He admitted to him that that he picked this fight. He wanted this fight because he knows it's a bad matchup. I admire Matt Brown for admitting that, but I also don't like it when a fighter admits that someone is better than him and that he kind of prove his toughness. We don't need to prove you're tough, dude. Like Matt Brown, we know you're tough. Like we've seen your fights, dude. I just kind of wish. I don't know. I think, like we were saying before, I think Damian Maia is gonna utilize his jiu-jitsu, his wrestling. His wrestling has improved so much, and the variation of takedowns that he utilizes now are just impressive. And I think what we're gonna see is Matt Brown surviving for maybe 1 or 2 rounds, but then the eventuality is he's gonna get caught. I think there's no two shits about that. He's gonna get caught somehow, somewhere. He's gonna slip up. He's gonna lose steam. Something's gonna happen, and he's gonna get eaten alive by Damian Maia. So, yeah, I just think Damian Maia pretty much has got this down, unless he, runs out of gas or something, which I highly doubt it. But weird things can happen.
Weird things always happen, especially in it's weird when it's from a guy you don't expect, which we don't expect that from Maia. So we'll find out. All right, main card starts at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific time on pay-per-view. First fight of the main card. Okay, Warley Alves against Brian Barberena. Prelim guys. I mean, hey, whatever, man. But Alves versus Barberena. Barberena, obviously, I pulling a couple of upsets, including the height derailment of one Sage Northcutt. And Warley Alves is a super strong, pretty good on the ground, and undefeated at 10-0. Tough Brazil winner, I believe. Last week, Colby Cunnington by guillotine. Before that, Nordine Taylor by guillotine, and Alan Joe Bomb by decision, and he guillotine choked Marcio Alexander. So Brian Barberena, don't shoot on him when you guys are dry. Okay, unless you want to get guillotined, clearly. All right. I admire Brown for challenging himself as Andrew Reid on YouTube. Sorry. Anyway, but this fight, it's. I hate to use the term, but it's a fun fight overall because you don't really know what either guy can do with against each other. But I think Warley Alves is going to be able to hurt him and take him, take his back and choke him out or guillotine him. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I don't understand why this fight is above Damian Maia, Matt Brown. That's kind of I don't know. I think this fight would actually serve better as the main event for Fox Sports 1.
Yeah,
because this fight has the potential to be exciting. Both of these guys are grapplers, sort of. Warley Alves just has more of a well-rounded game. Like his grappling and his submission game is just much more dangerous than Barberena's. Barberena, he looked great against Sage Northcutt, a guy that we know is not very well-rounded.
Yeah.
He looks fancy. He the co-main event podcast, they always talk about people, looking good when they get off the bus. That's Sage Northcutt to a T. He looks good getting off the bus. That's about it. Proving his skills in the octagon against, guys that are well-rounded just isn't going to be good for him. So here I think what we're looking at is an exciting fight where Barberena is going to be able to survive for maybe 2-3 rounds, but I just don't see how he's going to win this fight. Warley Alves, he has just better experience, more just more fights under his belt. I mean, he looked great on that season of The Ultimate Fighter Brazil, season 3 I think it was, and he won that whole season. And then the wins that he's compiled as he's been in the UFC are just impressive, as it is. Against a wrestler, against a really a different type of striker. I mean, he's ran the gamut of people. So it just it's just weird to me that it's almost like they're punishing Barberena, for beating up their golden boy and submitting him. So I think that's what they have Warley here to do. Beat up Barberena and basically tell him to fall in line and never hurt Sage Northcutt again.
Yeah, it's a punishment, like you said. All right, moving on. Shogun against Corey Anderson. Shogun, we all know everything about Shogun. Corey Anderson's kind of a wrestle bang guys to a win. I'm not expecting
beasting.
Shut up!
He's beasting.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. Come on. But Corey Anderson beasting 25-8. Look, man, he's gonna try to take Shogun down, and I hope that Shogun's jiu-jitsu is polished right now to submit him, because otherwise we're in for a boring fight. I'm taking Shogun by submission. Although a lot of people were saying his striking, he might try to show his striking. He went over to Kings, right? What do you think of this fight?
Yeah, I mean, Shogun, he's an interesting guy in my opinion. He's just like long in the tooth, but like he's never out of these fights. It's almost like he finds a way to like fight him the way he wants to fight, whether it's like a nasty drag out like punching fight, or if it's like one of those boring look at each other fight. Like you just never know like what the opponent's gonna do when he gets in there with Shogun. It's almost like they're shocked. They look up and they're like, holy crap, I'm in the octagon with Shogun, and then they kind of like don't do what they're supposed to do. But all that said, I think Corey Anderson is probably gonna be able to run through Shogun pretty handily. I don't see how Shogun can keep up with the strength difference, the cardio, the age. I mean, there's just so many factors in Corey Anderson's boxes that you can check off that are more in his favor. Hopefully we get the Corey Anderson that we hear about a lot, the guy that throws people around, really uses his striking effectively, mixes it up with his takedown defense, his takedown and his striking, instead of the guy that we get most of the time where he just goes in there and lays on people, kind of puts on a little beating, a la GSP. So hopefully this I think what they're looking for is for an exciting finish. you know, either they're expecting Corey Anderson to go in there and hurt Shogun and really put him down, or Shogun to put on a striking, you know, clinic and, you know, really beat up Corey Anderson on the feet. So
Right. Okay. Yeah, it's a weird fight. We'll see.
my pick is Corey Anderson, by the way.
I'm taking Shogun. I could tell. I'm taking Shogun. All right. Next up, what people are calling a funeral execution, whatever you want to call it. Leslie Smith against Chris Cyborg.
God damn.
I have a hard time, man. Look, I admire Leslie Smith for saying she's going to destroy Cyborg. It takes guts to take the fight. But I don't know how Cyborg loses, man. What do you think?
All right. So I'm going to make the case for Leslie Smith. Okay. I am picking Cyborg. All right? Because I'm not stupid. But
sorry, go ahead.
If anybody remembers the fight with Cyborg, and, you know, some of her toughest fights are with chicks that can take the punishment.
Yeah.
Why? Because they take those shots and they still are there after she takes those shots. And I think the big difference here is that Leslie Smith, you look at her record, she's been hit with some crazy punches by some crazy chicks, you know? Some chicks have really put it on her, and they haven't really been able to put her down. Plus, she trains with the Diaz, so you know she's got a screw loose. You know she's in there, you know, by, you know, who's the one? Adrian Broner is the one that trains with them or something? I think it is, right? Andre Ward. So you know she's in there, you know, learning that technique, getting hit. She's a tough chick, you know, and I think if anybody's going to be able to survive to round 2 or 3, I think it's going to be her. If she doesn't, then there's no chick in the world that can survive more than 2 rounds with Cyborg.
Right.
That being said, I just think Cyborg's strength and bull rush momentum that she brings into these fights, I mean, I think it's going to be too much for Leslie Smith to handle for too long.
Right.
Again, I think if Chris Cyborg punches herself out, which I don't think is going to happen, then that's when Leslie Smith is going to be able to implement some sort of game plan. Other than that, I just don't see it happening.
All right, and then quickly, because I have to go, I'm in trouble already. The co-main event, Vitor against Jacare. This is dad bod Vitor. This isn't TRT Vitor. After Jacare survives the initial blitz, Jacare should win this fight pretty easily. What do you think?
I'm going with Vitor.
All right.
I think that he's just more well-rounded, more experienced, and I think he's going to be able to put Souza away.
Well, let's hope he can last long enough to do it. And the main event, man, Verdum, your boy, Kings MMA product, your boy. I know you're a homer for the Kings guys. So your boy Verdum against Stipe Miocic. Stipe isn't a guy. He's a guy that can last all 5 rounds. But I don't know if this fight goes all 5 rounds. So a lot of people calling KO on this one. I'm calling decision Verdum. What do you think?
Wow, you're going for Verdum, huh?
Look, I need no time out. I need to be champ. Okay, when King comes back and beats him. Go
ahead. So that's never gonna happen.
I know.
I think the biggest stat that a lot of people put out right now is that Stipe has the most landed punches in a single fight for a heavyweight, and to me that's a bad thing to say, man. If you're a heavyweight and you land more than like 50 punches in a fight and you don't put someone out, dude, come on. Like, you literally have pillows for hands. Like, something's wrong. Although he has 10 knockouts, TKOs on his record. He knocks dudes out. But it's an accumulation. And I just don't see him being able to do that much punishment to Verdum without Verdum just dropping to the ground and, you know, Stipe going, well, I'm a wrestler. I'm going to go in there and, you know, and get submitted, because that's eventually what's going to happen is they're going to go to the ground and Verdum's going to be able to submit him. So I think Verdum's going to be able to utilize his striking, his improved striking, and really put on a beating on Miocic.
All right. Hey, you know, I'm still picking Verdum decision, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was a finish. I just hope the fight doesn't end so quickly, because Stipe has been training forever and begging for this title shot. So finally gets it. At least let it last a little bit.
That would suck. Can you imagine?
Dude. Sure. Anyway. All right, fellas. I gotta run. So thanks for coming on. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Jesse, for coming on, man. Shout out to Andrew Reed, who says Leslie will win. And Mike Jarf, thank you. He says if Cyborg loses, he's gonna play in the weight cut. We'll see. We'll see. All right, fellas. You can follow me at Elo31. You can follow Jesse at Spawat1983. It's right there.
Somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere there. And you guys have a wonderful day. And we will talk to you Twitter after the fights tomorrow, during the fights, whatever. All right, you guys have a good one. See ya.